Yo, what's good? What's happening? How is everybody? Hope we're all doing well. MX, Cryptic, Rotting, Smith, Udai, I, Tapwater, Boreas, Otto, Madeline, Sothro, Genex, Abdul, Godzilla, Samuel, Victor, Dino. What's good? What's happening? Sorry if I missed anybody's name. We're going to be doing a good old reaction stream today. It's only going to be a shorter stream because I have some stuff that I'm going to do later. But yeah, we hit 150k subs. So, now's a good time to react to my older videos. So we have it here organized. Look how my old thumbnails, look how they used to be. Like this was back when I had like no subscribers. I probably like 30 subscribers in this video. Probably less than that. So like most generic, basic thumbnails of all time. And you know what? They worked. Look at the viewership. That's so ass. The Dark Ages, yeah. Elden Ring literally released
Yui Gang.
almost 3 years ago. I think it was the 25th. Wasn't it the 25th of February? So it's been almost 3 years of making content on YouTube. That's crazy. I've been a day one Yui hater since... Oh, nice. Hell yeah. Reacting to Yui on my Yui stream. Yeah, let's go watch my very first video. I don't want to watch this shit. Chat, I'm gonna cringe. Chat, I'm gonna cringe. This is before I made my red character. Wearing this the Malekith set. I was testing out... There was no... This was before Steven. What's going on, Kara? How are things? When I'm moving to OnlyFans? No. I don't want to watch this chat. I don't want to watch it.
Hey, what's up, guys? So today we'll be going over
I don't want to watch it. Why am I... I don't want to watch it. I'm going to cringe.
the best faith weapons in Elden Ring. It's pretty much like an in-depth review of every single, well, not every single, but the best ones that I consider of each subcategory of weapon. So if you are undecided of which faith weapon to use, this will pretty much give you a better understanding. We also go through like all like damages as to where to find the weapons.
I can't. Why do I sound so depressed? Oh, this is so bad.
As well, and whether or not they'd be good.
Why were you submissive? I think I was just like, sounds scared to speak. I think I was, because I was like, because I never made YouTube videos. Because like, how do I actually speak? And I guess I was like, just, I don't know, maybe I was shy.
Using them by myself or power stancing with another weapon. So the split is going to be split up into two different parts. It's going to be like the first part of the video, which will be over the ones that scale with strength. And then the second part of the video will be the ones that scale with dexterity. So for starters, we're going to go for the straight swords. And for the straight swords, I have two.
This is actually what I used for my first playthrough, by the way. I actually ended up using the McKillen Knight Sword on the Golden Epitaph. This is my talisman setup. Well, you know what? It wasn't a bad talisman setup, but still a faithful canvas talisman, though.
There's the McKillen Knight Sword and the Golden Epitaph.
What are my stats? See, look, 40 vigor. I had 40 vigor for like the entire game. I was at level 140. Wow. I still had Dark Souls brain. I had Dark Souls 3 brain. I was like, I don't need to go above 40 vigor. What's the benefit? It's like, why are these bosses hitting so hard? 30 mind and 30 endurance. I probably just had this respec just for this specific build. These are my spell setup. I mean, Lightning Spear, Valid. Crucible Tail, Scouring, Black Flame. Black Blade spell. Surge O Flame. I had Dark Souls 3 brain. Because I mean, Fire Surge was good in Dark Souls 3. Mainly for PvP.
If you look at both of them, they have relatively similar scaling. With their attributes required, they're very low requirements. So they are pretty fine. However, you do get them late game. Damages of McKillen 320 or 528.
I'm going over AR and stuff. This is so bad. I don't watch this. I want to go over the locations. Wow.
The Ori's Hero Grave and the McKillen somewhere in FAL. Not sure where exactly. You have to look it up.
Somewhere in Elfale.
For the weapon arts, honestly, both of them are really good. Last Rites is pretty...
No, they're not really good. You're so stupid. Both of them are really good. They're not good weapons. They're mid. Descalings and Faith.
Pretty much Golden Barrels. It's going to give you more damage and more attack for a split amount of time.
More damage and more attack. That's the same thing. It's not like... It's kind of similar to Golden Barrel. It is an aura buff, so he was right there. But it makes you do more damage against, like, undead enemies, which is, like, the major benefit. Idiot.
For the McKellen.
Look how slow Sacred Blade was back then.
You more damage and more attack for a split amount of time. For the McKellen.
Look at that speed of Sacred Blade.
85.
Yuck. Disgusting.
Holy damage, and it just does work as a projectile as well, which does scale.
That's nasty work.
But yeah, just look at the damages now. 638 and 631, so it's a lot better. So I do recommend power stancing these weapons.
I don't.
However, obviously you can just use one of them. If you were going to use one, I would recommend the McKellen, beat that you do have the option to have a projectile attack.
Well, he's right there. If you were going to have one, you want to have the McKillen. That's true.
But power stancing these weapons, the movesets that you get from the straight swords and power stancing is really good.
He's not wrong there either.
Yeah, overall just like solid weapons, so straight swords. Okay, so now we have the curved swords, and yeah, I know what you're thinking, strength curved swords, but the Magma
There
Blade
is strength curve swords throughout the series, whatever.
probably the best faith curved sword in the game, and it has a better strength scaling and dexterity. So yeah, there's that. The damage of the Magma Blade, 554. I couldn't get a second one because it is a very, very low drop rate.
It is very low drop rate. This is before I used cheat engine chat. This was pre-cheat engine Yui. I actually farmed for the Magma Blade.
Well, they drop off the man serpents that specifically wield the Magma Blade, so look for the ones that actually have the orange blade. The other ones drop the one that I have in my left hand.
Sound like Squidward?
For this right now, just to show you the power stance moveset.
I was just showing off power sense. I'm using a flame art serpent god, whatever it goes.
Curved sword
I said this to show off the power sensing moveset. That's valid.
That's really good. One of the quickest in the game. They'll still stagger enemies, so it's not going to be like a dagger.
That's true.
R2s I'm not that much of a fan of.
That's true still.
Power sensing movesets are still really good. I prefer the straight sword power stance moveset better.
Why does he prefer the straight sword power sensing moveset better? Maybe because I lunge further? It's not the worst take in the world, but I'm not sure. Because obviously I still had Dark Souls brain, so I didn't actually use jumping attacks. I was not like I didn't use jumping attacks at all. Like I didn't know how good they were because they weren't in any other game. So that's probably the main reason, I guess. But if I knew about the jumping attacks, I probably would have definitely.
Well, but if you're just like single...
Because if you look at my old gameplay, I don't think I used jumping attacks at all. You sound like you're giving your speech class giving a presentation. Your speech... Huh? Oh, like... Oh, yeah, kind of. I'm playing online.
You're
Cat.
not really using power stancing. I do prefer the curved sword over the straight sword, because you do get that extra swing.
Because you get an extra swing. You get an extra light attack with a power stance straight sword. I guess is a valid reason. Maybe, I don't know.
Also, the damage isn't going to be as good as the curved sword, or the straight swords.
Okay.
But they do move a lot quicker.
Is it that much less? I don't know. Maybe.
And the Magma Blade is like really cool looking.
The
As for
Magma
the
Blade
weapon
is
art,
cool
it's
looking.
Not the best, but it does do its job.
What do you mean not the best? It's pretty good. Did they buff it once? I don't know. But it's not the best. He's kind of right. It's not the best.
In terms of like the damage over time, or like if you find like a really big...
I mean, having an offhand serpent god curve sword with the Magma Blade is not even the worst option. Because I'm pretty sure this one does scale better off strength, and you actually get passive health regen. So you know what? Old Yui was onto something. Old Yui was onto something.
boss, and you just use that weapon art, and then the boss will be like just stuck in that lava, and you'll get a little bit of damage over time for a bit. They're good against those Erd tree bosses.
There's Erd tree bosses, by the way, chat.
That's the Magma Blade.
How long ago was this? March the 7th. That was like 2 weeks after the game came out.
Okay, so for the twin swords, we have the black Well,
The twin blades, not the twin swords, you dum-dum.
Gargoyle has black blades, which is pretty much the only faith scaled weapon in the twin blades category. You get this.
Don't say
weapon
anything positive about this shit, it's dog shit.
from the mass ups of the giants. It's like as soon as you enter this whole area, there'll be like a black gargoyle. You kill it, it drops this weapon. Damage to this weapon with the obviously the same 40 faith or 46 faith and 40 strength, 647.
Well, like it's a strength-based weapon, whatever, who cares?
It's actually
Idiot.
pretty decent. In terms
No,
of the
it's
power
not.
stance moveset, it's very flashy and looks cool, but honestly, it's pretty much the same thing if you just two-hand the weapon, honestly.
He's honestly kind of right. The two-handed moveset is, I mean, like, obviously I didn't know about the jumping attacks. If you don't include the jumping attacks, the twin blade power sensing combo is actually mid. The two-handing, I actually prefer to have it two-handed because the heavy attacks are actually really good and they can help proc the multi-hit talismans. But he's kind of right there, especially if you're going to go with a strength-based one. Anyway.
In terms of the weapon art of this, not the best. It's just okay. Nothing flashy or crazy like anything like that.
Why doesn't it get anything flashy or crazy? I saw Dark Souls brain. Just uses like weapon movesets as being basic for everything.
One-handed weapon
Is Eleanor's the only bleed twin blade? It's the only twin blade that comes with passive bleed, yeah.
is still pretty good as well. The damage is pretty underwhelming compared to like the straight swords and the curved swords.
He's right there. Twin blades are actually kind of mid if you don't use multi-hit talismans. If you're not using multi-hit talismans, I wouldn't really bother using twin blades at all. Because they get like less stance damage than a straight sword and have like longer animations.
Weapons of this same thing. So if you were looking for
What quality is this fucking video, by the way? 720p? What a dog shit YouTuber. It's got on Gremlin. How things, buddy?
to choose, I probably would still rather go with the straight swords.
Can you react to yesterday's stream?
Because one, it's just lighter, and two, they'll pretty much just do like the same DPS.
He's probably right. I think straight swords it is the better class. This guy's right. I mean, he didn't know about the jumping attack power sensing combos, but you know, I wasn't using jumping attacks back then. I still had Dark Souls brain, so that was kind of valid, I guess. I don't know. Not gonna hold him against it that much,
Probably
but
the best twin blade for the faith build.
the best twin blade for a faith. But you're an absolute bozo. It gets a D-scaling in faith. Why would it be the best one for a faith build?
Okay, so now for the juicy stuff, the great.
The juicy stuff, chat.
Well, the ones that scale with strength. The ones that scale with dexterity we did later in the video, but there are plenty of great swords that have a pure strength scaling. The best two will be the Blasphemous Blade, obviously, and the Ordovis.
He's still right, chat. He's still right. They're the best ones.
Blasphemous Blade you get from killing that boss Rykard and going to the round table to trade. Ordovis's Greatsword you get from
The Ariza's Hero Grave.
Hero Grave by killing the boss, then you would drop this sword.
That's true.
Obviously, power stance.
That's got on fish.
moveset,
Sasha, what's up?
Not the best. Probably still better off just like one-handing it. However, with the Blasphemous Blade,
Yeah, power sense and greatsword combos aren't like the most amazing thing, but they're fine though. They're possible.
it has the inherent perk of getting your health back when you do damage, which is incredibly useful. So we'll just take damage with this guy real quick. And then with rapid hits, we get health.
Not rapid hits, it's with kills, you bum bum.
Okay, health back, excuse me.
What are you doing?
I think with rapid hits as well. And that's with the weapon art.
Yeah, it's the weapon art. There you go. He corrected himself.
Test out the weapon art on this guy real quick. And then, yeah. Pretty strong. Pretty strong. Now test out the weapon art of this bad boy.
Yeah, that was the
cool
uncharged attack.
looking,
Chat, it used to be
not
so
gonna
much
lie.
slower.
Pretty strong. Now test out the weapon out of this bad boy. Pretty cool looking, not gonna lie. I think the Blasphemous weapon art is still better.
That is true.
Just the power sensing moveset. Yeah.
I didn't really
Pretty
cover it much. You can.
strong.
I didn't actually fully charge the skill. It's kind of Rooney.
I think the Blasphemous blade is still a little bit better, but if you just want like a cool switchy looking weapon
He didn't even fully charge it. What a bum. He doesn't know anything about this game. Halberds.
be the most underrated weapon class in the game. The
Halberds are the most underrated weapon class in the game? You don't know shit.
Halberds. So we have two here. We have the
Did Taker's Flame even heal much? Yeah, it was the same. I don't think Blasphemous Blade got changed at all, really.
was Black Halberd, and we have the Golden Halberd.
Why you sound depressed? I was just more shy back then, I guess. I was just like, as my first video, I was like, I don't know how hard to go. Just speak.
Weapons are doing well over 700 AR.
Stealing your own content? Yes.
Golden Black Halberd, you get it literally from just down there for that boss over there.
What microphone was I using? Was I using like a fucking like a headset mic?
Alrighty, so Halberd movesets are pretty good. Those sweeping attacks and the pokes are really nice. Have a lot
It's
of
long animation though. I don't know, whatever.
range, relatively quick, one-handed and two-handed, both pretty good power sensing movesets. Everything about them is nice. The spinning slash, the spin to win has always been a fan favorite in all the Soul series games.
Nah, you're not. You're an idiot.
Let's go have a look at the. It's just Golden Vow, more damage, more defense. Can't go wrong.
That's true. You can't go wrong. But your thing is, you get gold about Ash of War at the beginning of the game anyway. I'm not sure if you knew that. I don't know.
Honestly, probably one of the better. Look at that, just so one click of a button. I think.
Oh my god, you're an idiot. Yeah, we get it. The large weapon that's slow can hit the smaller enemy and actually like. I'm sick of listening to this bum.
With this strength part, I don't really like any of these.
Is that what you sound like IRL? No, that's when I sound like when I'm more timid, I guess. I'm more just. I don't know. Like, go ahead and try and make a YouTube video for the first time right now. I guarantee you're not going to be like sounding as flamboyant as you normally would, I suppose.
I just think these weapons are too slow. And
What?
The weapon arts aren't really that special.
What?
Like, this is just way too slow and
It does a lot of damage. You haven't tried out anything.
doesn't really have any range.
When he's right, the range is kind of subpar.
This one.
This one doesn't have a really long recovery animation, but it does a lot of damage still.
Completely unusable.
It's unusable. Idiot.
Like, too slow. Damage is not going to be there.
The damage is there. You're an idiot.
Okay, so now for time for the dexterity weapons. Let's start off with just the most broken stuff in the game. So,
Ow!
Great swords. These are just absolutely broken. This is only plus
They're not
8.
broken. The Sacred Relic Sword may be broken. The Golden Order Greatsword?
I'm gonna show you what's gonna happen with this. So this is the Sacred Relic Sword and the Golden Order Greatsword. You get these pretty much, and then for the Sacred Relic Sword, you get from the final boss. And you have to like the dexterity, 45 faith.
I remember actually deciding whether to go to the Sacred Relic Sword or the Maracas Hammer. I was like, I really want to go with the Maracas Hammer because the hammer looks really cool. But I have a feeling that the Greatsword is going to be better. And I went with it. Because like hammers have always been like historically kind of mid. And I was right.
630 and 609.
But Maracas Hammer was actually really good. But yeah, the Sacred Relic Sword is better though.
Obviously, this is only a plus 8, so it's gonna be doing.
Dexterity? Yeah,
target
dexterity, yeah.
Upgrading it. Yeah, so Greatsword move damage of them is just insane. But
The damage
it's
isn't really that
too
insane.
Okay, I don't know what that did. It did a bit like no damage.
Have I even tested these things out? Am I testing them out in real time?
This, yeah, that's just broken.
That is true. That is broken. The weapon skill is broken.
There's just no other way to put it. It just, this becomes the best weapon in the game, the best faith weapon in the game, hands down.
Best weapon in the game. Wow. How is Saba? She's doing well. She's like biting on my pants right now.
Purely because of this attack. Obviously, you do get it at the end of the game. We have to finish.
In terms of crowd control, yeah, but bosses, no. But you know what? That's not even a bad take. If someone were to put the Sacred Relic Sword, she already did 8. She's just playing around.
Okay, these are probably the best faith weapons in the game. Obviously,
I said that like 3 times already. It's like, these are the best faith weapons in the game.
not including that one we just talked about. But
Not including the
these,
one we just talked about,
in terms of
apparently.
just, like, without the weapon art, these are your best bet. And you can actually get
They're
these
scythes, though.
relatively
Reapers, they're
early
kind of
game as
mid.
well. But some keep fast, both pretty decent. Obviously, it's a scythe, so the movesets are just going to be amazing. They don't have like the pokes like the Halberds, but they're very similar to the Halberds. We'll go over weapon arts. So for this one, it has pretty good range. It's probably the best holy attack in the game in terms of
Who
its
is
range
Saba?
and how fast it goes.
This is Saba.
Because there's no holy spell or anything like that that can actually go that fast. So in terms of like picking off skeletons from a distance.
Picking
I'll
off
show you
skeletons
best
from
bet.
a distance.
Now as for the wing scythe weapon art, really good range. I don't know why it didn't do any damage that time, but yeah, it's always gonna be a one shot in that one.
So it's gonna one-shot the vulgar militiaman, chat. Best weapon in the game.
Weapon arts, yeah. Overall, these are probably your best.
Cool, I still call them the weapon arts. They're weapon skills, buddy.
So
The
we have
Vikes
two
Waspy.
that we're gonna be using the Vikes Waspy and the Tree Spear. For some reason, the Tree Spear uses as regular smithing materials to upgrade. I don't know why you can't infuse it, you can't buff it at all.
True, why does it take
So, I
regular
don't know
smithing
why it's
stones
like
if you
that.
can't infuse it?
Mine's only like plus 17, keep in mind, and it's doing 550 damage.
So pretty decent.
The Vikes Waspy
Hey!
is doing 617.
Stop it.
You get the Vikes Waspy from an NPC invader. Pretty decent weapons. The movesets for the one-handed aren't that special. It's only like a 3-hit move. The running attack is where it's at. I'll show you the running attack now.
The running attack? What's with the running attacks?
Keep in mind my tree
What, the
space
running
plus
heavy?
17,
It's
so
kinda
that
mid,
probably
honestly.
one-shot if it was maxed out. We'll go over the weapon arts. Obviously, being that this one does inflict frenzy, it's gonna be extremely good in PvP.
That's true.
It is pretty good in PvE as well, in terms of like the AoE damage. Yeah, it's just gonna one-shot every single time.
Chad is gonna one-shot the vulgar militiaman. Hell yeah.
Really amazing. The madness is actually broken in PvP right now, so
He is
Yeah,
right,
all
the
the
madness
medics are
is
really
broken in
great
PvP
options.
sometimes because then you just don't dodge it with like the stupid the lag. So in terms of PvP, he was right.
okay,
is
now
really
time
good.
for the Colossal Swords. Right now we're going over the Godslayer's Greatsword. I would have liked to have Marika's Black Blade, but I actually don't have on America's Hammer or the Malekith's Black Blade. I don't have either of those open, so I can't really show those ones to you.
I didn't know that you could duplicate remembrances because I'm a stupid dum-dum.
But I do have this, the Godslayer's Greatsword. You get this one from the device. Unfortunately, it only has like a 3-hit moveset for the R1.
It's still
It's nice,
fast,
like,
though.
horizontal swipes. R2. Swing. This. Damage isn't the best.
Because it's a quality-based weapon champ.
And thankfully, you do get some hyper armor with it.
It's got an Andrew.
1200, not that bad. It is pretty slow for the weapon art. Or the skill, excuse me.
Aha, he corrected himself.
A lot of the other skills pretty much
Morgoth's Great Rune instead of Godric's. Morgoth's Great Rune is better than Godric's. I know what you're talking about. Godric's is only good early game. But once you get Morgoth's Great Rune, that's definitely the better one.
do it quicker and do pretty much just as much damage. So yeah, this one probably don't recommend in terms of a dexterity, because it scales more dexterity than strength. But yeah, don't really recommend this one.
Damn,
There's
I
a-
didn't recommend the Godslayer's Greatsword. That's crazy work.
If I was to rank them, if you're going with dexterity, obviously use the scythes, the spears, or these broken greatswords.
That's not broken.
If you're with a strength build, definitely recommend the halberds, these straight swords.
Oh my god, I'm sick of this guy. I'm sick of listening to this guy. What an absolute bum. I don't watch any more of this. Should I actually watch the ranking videos? Should I watch? Oh, I don't want to watch this. Wait, did I take into account PvP as well? Old PvP gameplay? Am I testing out the damage on an octopus? No way.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Yui here.
Oh, I even stated my name. What's up, guys? It's Yui.
Today we'll be starting a new series, and what that is the weapon category reviews.
The weapon category reviews.
So hopefully I'll probably pop out a bunch of these videos. But yeah, to start, we're going to be going over the curve swords. So what these detailed reviews are going to mean is that I'll be going over all the different scalings and damage numbers for every single infusion, which weapons is best paired together for a power stance combo, which weapon is best paired for a certain build.
Oh, look what I used to do. Oh my god, ranking the best. I went, oh, yuck. This is what I did, chat. I had this fucking whole sheet going over the numbers and stuff. I mean, at least somebody was doing it, because there was no like there was no build planner back then, and it's like the wiki didn't even have this information, so like it was pretty useful information at the time.
Eclipse, this
I put the Eclipse Shuttle number 3? Why? The Magma Blade got number 14? Bro, who listens to this guy? Wing of Estelle 6? Did I make a mistake there? Them shits need to be switched. Putting Bandits and Scavengers number 1 and 2 was valid. I wasn't really too familiar with like stance damage, because stance damage is a new mechanic. So I didn't know about the Wing of Estelle stance damage. Grossmesser is way too high. What the hell is the Eclipse Shuttle doing at number 3? What did I say about that?
This is obviously not including the broken bullshit that's going around at PvP.
Oh, wait, not including it.
Now, not including that, I'll put that at number 3. Processor number 4, that's
What?
going around at probably a number 2 option. Eclipse, this is obviously not including the broken bullshit that's going around at PvP right now. Not including that, I'll put that at number 3.
Well, why though? Why did I put it at number 3? What did I say about it? Because there was like a glitch that it literally just like, with when you had the Eclipse Shuttle weapon skill active and you used Fire's Deadly Sin, when you stood next to enemies, they just took passive Death Blight buildup. So all you had to do was like stand next to an enemy in PvP for like 5 seconds and just instantly died to Death Blight. So like there was like a really broken glitch going on. So I think I took into account PvP, and I think they nerfed the status build-up for the weapon as well. So maybe if you take into account PvP with the Death Blight, it's not too bad. So I think it wasn't just PvE, but why is the Magma Blade super low though?
Really broken. It's stupid. Paired with the certain Pyromancy, it's just ridiculous. However, we'll go over the weapon. That's exactly the same. All the way up top, exactly unique weapon art. And this one, this gets plus 30 to Faith to its damage.
It's wholly not Faith, you bum. Oh, I don't want to watch any of these, chat. They're all terrible. Ranking the straight swords. Oh, boy.
Faith weapon.
Okay, Sword of Knights and Flame, still number 1. Mikilla Night Sword. Carrion Night Sword. Coated Sword 4, okay. Long Sword, Broadsword. Lord Sworn straight sword at number 11. The Regalia. I hated the Regalia and the Marias Executioner Sword back then. I remember that. I was like, ew, an arcane weapon that doesn't get bleed? Why even bother? That's crazy. Now, to be fair, the Sword of Night and Flame was actually better back in the original patch, and they nerfed it, then they buffed it again. But it's still the best one. Because you actually couldn't track upwards with the weapon, but you used to do, like, way more damage. These are dog shit videos. I think this was the first video with Steven.
Faith. Erdtree is the best seal in the game.
This is the one. This is where Steven first showed up. I think this was the first character where I had Memo Guy Red.
Doing all of the sacred seals in the game. So obviously you've taken this video to find out which one the best one
My
is.
guy.
And obviously, like after like about 3 hours of testing, it's safe to say that I don't know. I don't know which one the best one is. There is no obvious best one. There are like the best ones in certain categories. Obviously that's where they should. Feel free to stick around. Is that obviously some of these seals do get passive effects, so like...
Cool. Yeah, actually I was the first person to actually talk about how you could actually offhand the seals and offhand staves to actually get the damage boost. Cool tip, chat. You don't actually have to use it.
The incant scale is really low compared to this. So obviously this one will be doing more damage no matter what, even if I do use a Frenzied Flame incantation.
True.
I'll just show you what I mean real quick. So obviously without having it on, looking at the damage, here is Steven. I've been testing on him for a very long time. Looking at the number of that, 705.
Steven, chat. Steven is there.
Equipping the weapon itself. Please let me get it off. 847. So yeah. Okay, so how I actually did this testing was obviously I used...
I actually did the test, and then because I realized that when you offhand the seal, it gives you a damage boost, I realized my numbers are all fucked up, and I had to redo the test again. I remember that. So how do I rank them? Best suited. Okay. Erdtree, Golden Order, best high in faith. Gravelstone, only good for Lightsing and at high faith. Finger is good all around. It's mainly best for lower levels. Godslayer is best at 40 faith. Yeah, true. Giant, only good for Giant Flame Pyromancies. Clawmark, terrible. I didn't think I knew that the strength scaling actually did something. Because I think I looked at the strength scaling of the finger seal. I was like, oh, it doesn't do anything. And I probably didn't notice that the claw mark seal actually boosts. And Dragon Communion, best at High Faith Arcane. Well, it's kind of the best one all around. Frenzied Flame Seal is terrible, though. Dog shit video. Made by a dog shit YouTuber. Big strength, much wow. Chad strength faith PvP build. Tips to get better at PvP. Best weapon for spells. Well, the debuff for the fucking Scepter of the All-Knowing? Wow. Insane health regen build. That was with Prelate's Charge and the Great Stars. It's actually shit. I wouldn't bother doing it. Pure Faith build. Pure Faith is better than Pure Magic. I rant about the hammers. I probably called them shit. I remember this video. You're playing Elden Ring wrong. Huge update. I kind of want to see what do I want to see get ranked. I want to see the Greatsword ranking list. If this is some bullshit, if the Blasphemous Blade is anything not in the top 3, I'm gonna be so mad. Okay, it's number 1. Everything's fine, chat. Wait, why is the Ordovis's Greatsword and the Mariah's at the bottom? What's at the bottom? Why is the Claymore so low? Oh my god. Why is the Inseparable Sword so high? Oh, what an idiot. What an absolute bum. You had the top 4, right? What the hell happened? What did you do wrong? Why is the Golden Order Sword... The Gargoyle's black... That's not too bad, I guess. I mean, it's like the Helfen Steeple and Inseparable... If the Inseparable Sword and Helfen Steeple were switched with the Ordovises and Mariah's, it would actually be a very good list. Like, it's not the worst thing. If these two were switched for these two... I didn't know, chat. I didn't know about the Mariah's. Claymore should be a lot higher as well. That should be definitely higher than a lot of these other ones. I mean, like, I guess I just looked at the damage. Like, all the damage is just average. Like, just use the Iron Greatsword. It's just better. And I don't really talk about the poking attack. We didn't know about piercing damage either. We didn't know. Ranking the spears. Oh, God. 40-minute videos, by the way. Actually, these are, like, so easy to make. Because I just, like, talk shit. I didn't even edit them. Like, I was, like, stuttering over my words. And then I was just shit the entire time. It was terrible. Like, I made these in, like, a couple hours. Every single one. Like, I used to, like, work back in the day. I actually had a real job. And I made these videos, like, back to back to back. I'm not racking to the fucking grandma video. Please don't be dog shit. Kai Cross Nugget Inquisitor's Grandal. It's because I made a build about it. And I was like, oh, this is actually really cool. Bolter Grandsax at 4. Death Ritual Spear. The Pike that low. There's always that one. I was like, what the hell are you thinking? Heavy Thrusting Swords. Well, this is only like 5, so I don't know. Let's see what I did. Bloody Hellas, Godskin Stitcher, Dragon King's Cragblade. That's valid. That's not bad. That was only 4, that's right, true. There's only 4. Ranking the Colossals, I'm scared about this one. I don't know what it is.
A lot of damage. But if you don't really like...
I had a favorite build, that's right. I forgot, what was my build? I think every single time that I made a build, it was always Power Stancing. The Star Scourge Greatsword. But did I put the Star Scourge Greatsword at number 1? No way. I did! Where's the Guts' Greatsword? At number 4. The Zweihander at the bottom. I know why. I remember because I was pissed that, I was pissed at a scale of Dexterity. I'm like, why is it scaling better off Dexterity? It should be a strength weapon. The Royal Greatsword at number 2 was in Major L. Honestly, Star Scourge is not even that bad. But yeah, I was pissed off that the Zweihander just scaled of Dexterity and it's had shit damage. But yeah, I was dumb. I know. Poking heavy attack, it's really light, low requirements, and I guess Colossal Sword damage. Like, I was just annoyed, I guess. The Halberds.
I have 18
50 minutes of just talking about this random bullshit. What the heck? Guardian Sword Spear, base, Golden Halberd. You're an idiot. Loretta's War Sickle? What are you doing? Banished Knight Halberd and regular Halberd. The Dragon's Halberd should be switched out with the Golden Halberd. What the fuck is the Gargoyle's Black Halberd doing above the Gargoyle's Halberd? What the hell? What am I listening? What am I watching? Who is this guy? How did this get this many views? I mean, to be fair, the game had just come out.
For you guys.
Commander Standard at 8. Be middle of the pack for Commander Standard is not the worst thing. It's not the most egregious thing in the world. Bloodhound Fang, Morgoth's Curse Sword, Magworm Scales. Okay. Okay, this is not a bad list. This one's pretty valid. I'd put the Zamora a bit higher. Maybe. I'd probably put it like a... Okay, this one's not a bad list. Okay. That's fine. The Monk's Monk's Flameblade should probably be below the Omen Cleaver. But, like, that's fine. That's not a bad... Did I say beat, man? That's not bad.
Hey, what's up? It's Yuri, and it's about time we reviewed some axes.
It's about time we reviewed some axes. No way.
Obviously, as always, there are timestamps down below if you want to see something.
There are timestamps down below. Okay, what did I say? The Warped Axe #1. Still. Nice. Stormhawk Axe #2. No. Rose's Axe #5. Honestly, should be a bit higher. That's fine. Not the worst thing. Honestly, not the worst. Not the worst list. Ice Rend Hatchet should probably be a bit higher. Talisman choice is crazy. I think I just had those talismans on to help test the damage. Like, I wanted to meet the requirements for certain things. And because I was tanking so much damage, I just put these on to compensate, I guess. But I just did it to meet the requirements. That's all it is. Because I think I was only like at level 150. And I had like just flat 40 in every single stat. So yeah, that was basically the reason for that. I wasn't that bad I wasn't that stupid when it came to the game. The Twinblades.
Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Yui here.
What's going on? I should bring that back.
About these,
What's
right?
going on, guys? It's Yui here. Eleanor is #1. Godskin. I mean, the Black Blade should be at the bottom. I don't know what the hell that's doing at #4. That's not the worst list. I don't know. I probably put the Godskin Pillar above Eleanor's. Maybe the Gargoyles above Eleanor's too, but that's all valid. That's perfectly fine. I'm not mad at that. The daggers.
How much damage I'm actually doing with that? I'll get hit so I can show you how much health regen. Okay, hit me again.
What the fuck health regen are we talking
That's
about
a bit
here?
too much. Stephen, relax. Now,
Steven. But this is my build. My favorite build is a Black Knife with a Misericord. I have parry on the Misericord. Based. Unfathomably based. Wait, what's #1? I can't see it. The Ivory Sickle.
Ever. You can't buff
I
it, you
can't see what's #1.
healing, so just... I amazing damage, but...
The Reduvia. No, it's not. Bloodstained Dagger, Misericord, Reduvia. Wakazashi, no. Ursa Dagger should be like top 3, maybe. Scorpion Stinger, no, whatever, who cares. Oh, Glintstone, Chris, you're a doo-doo dum-dum. You know nothing about this game. You're a doo-doo dum-dum. Yeah, it's fine being the Syndicate and the Ivory Sickle. They're dog shit, we get it. The hammers. Now, keep in mind that this is pre-buff Marika's hammer. And it's still got #6. It probably should have been higher because I probably didn't know about the stance damage. But it was a lot slower back then. I think so. Morningstar #1. Envoy's Horn #2. Based. Actually based. Monk's Flame Mace. What the hell is the Monk's Flame Mace doing at #4? What am I, stupid? Is it because it scales the best of Dexterity? It's probably the highest damaging Dexterity based one. It's like, oh, it came first in something, so it has to be higher. That's probably why. Vari's Bouquet, still at the bottom. The Stone Club, what are you doing? It's the highest damaging one. Chuck it at the top. Maybe because they don't like the moveset. I mean, the hammer movesets are shit anyway. You just charge heavy attacks. Where is the Marika's Hammer anyway? Marika's Hammer.
The Scepter. As for the stats, it gets a B in Strength, D in Dexterity, and a C in Faith, doing split holy damage. Relatively low requirements and weight. Total AR is going to be just the basic generic hammer moveset. The weapon art itself is going to do this really freaking cool attack. Definitely the coolest attack in the game.
It was a coolest attack in the game. I still liked it back then. I mean, I know I liked it back then. But it was a lot slower. So, yeah.
the weapon art itself is going to do this really freaking cool attack. Definitely the coolest attack in the game.
And the
I love
recovery frames were really long as well, so that was kind of valid not being number one.
this weapon so much. Too bad it's a fucking hammer.
He likes the weapon a lot. Because hammers have like shitty movesets. They do. But like, one thing I didn't notice is like stance damage. I wasn't really too familiar with it. The great axes.
The moveset. They're spot defect.
Executioners. What's the butchering knife doing up there? Crescent Moon Axe actually based. Great Omen Killer Cleaver. That's fair. Rusted Anchor at 6. I don't want to listen to this guy anymore. I don't want to listen to this guy anymore. The whips. I don't care about the whips. Ranking the fist weapons. Let's see what bullshit I was on for the fist weapons.
They're going to have that option of bleed. So, yeah. This one does not.
Okay, Star Fist is still number 1. That's fair. I probably put the Iron Balls that low because it's outclassed. Cypher Pata. Veterans Prosthesis. I mean, like, what else would be a number 2, I guess? I don't fucking know. I probably put the Spike Casters. I don't know. What the fuck? Is that it? Yeah. I don't know. Whatever. Honestly, putting the Veterans Prosthesis at number 2 is not even the worst option. I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't even be mad at that. I'm not mad at that. I wouldn't. I probably put it more towards like the middle. But like, it gets like the most range out of all the fist weapons. And it gets the poking attack moveset, which can be pretty decent sometimes. I mean, it doesn't get the most range anymore because the Pater exists. Iron Ball below the Clinging Bone. Well, I thought like, because the Star Fist exists, there's no reason for the Iron Ball to exist. So I guess, I don't know. But I didn't like, think about like, you can get it earlier in the game. Colossal weapons.
But yeah. As for now, these are as much larger weapons. As for our stats, we're going to have 60 in both strength.
Okay. What build did I go with? I should have checked out a build. That was the build that I used. A cold infused duelist, the Great Axe, Rotten Duelist, Great Axe. I mean, the Falling Star base was broken back then, so that had to have gotten number 1, right? Yeah. Watchdog Staff should be higher. Great Club Pusher should be higher. The rest is valid. Why did I put the Rotten Great Axe at number 13 if I put it in my best favorite builds list? I don't know. This is okay. There is the Clinging Bone to exist either. We'll go to like a number 13. Like, it's still like D tier. Yeah, the Falling Star Beast was the best weapon in the entire game. Like, it was like the best weapon. And then they nerfed it. Pretty hard. What's the current 2 and 3? I don't think the Cypher Pater is up there. I know. You can check out my fist weapon ranking list. I think it's like Golem Fist and Pater is number 2 and 3. It's got a Nuggets. How things, man? Yeah, that's valid still. Back in the days where I was just like, fuck actually doing like a ranking video, just to put it in a, a Google Doc. Ranking the claws. I mean, honestly, whatever ranking list that was, it doesn't matter. Because you can interchange them. Honestly, all 4 are amazing. As long as the hook claws at the bottom, then it doesn't matter how you put
At all, so.
Bogwin, Sacred Spear, Tree Spear, Lance, Silurius, Tree, Serpent Hunter, and the Vikes deservingly at the bottom. Serpent Hunter, I probably didn't know. I don't know. The moveset's fucking flawless and impeccable. So that should be higher. Tree Spear, honestly, not even the worst pick, because the charged heavy attacks are insane, but like, now that the Messmer's Soldier Spear exists, this is like a lot lower. I'd still put the Silurius Tree higher than the Tree Spear, even before the DLC. Yeah. The Flails, I didn't even care, honestly. Fuck the Flails. A Talisman Guide. Complete Talisman Guide. What talismans to use? Do I even want to know this? That was a 40-minute video. I'd love to know. Stat talismans?
Isn't going to really be doing that much more damage. Unless you had like no other talismans, then you would obviously always benefit off that.
Did I like talk about every single one in the game? I don't think I actually... I should have like... Fuck. I ain't listen. I'm watching this shit. I ain't watching this shit. A special armor effect guide. Most underrated weapon, the Inseparable Sword. I mean, it does get a lot of damage. And if you do want to go the Sacred Blade build, the Inseparable Sword is the best option because you get like insane scalings. It does hit pretty hard. Even on a Greatsword and uses, you know, Salty Rage Invasions. Yeah, that's me being absolute. If you want to see me rage, you can watch this video. I don't want to watch it because it's like... I watch it. 26 dislikes. Yeah, look at the... Oh, you guys can't see
this
it.
game. It's actually perfect. It doesn't need to be fixed at all. Everything about this game is
crashed.
I take it all back. God, I've never seen so much fucking virgin on my screen. Oh my...
Jeez. The tier list of all 90 Ashes of War. Level 1 bubble only versus Millennia? Dude, my old camera back then was insane. Why did I have such long hair as well? Best straight sword build. Let's go look at this Ash of War tier list. It's got a
What's
Muhammad.
going on, guys? So I did another tier list video, this time going over all of the Ashes of War.
Why do I have spears in my hand?
Little disclaimer, I may have like forgotten how a couple of them work, so
Idiots. Disclaimer, I forgot how they work. Skip right to the end. Lion's Claw, S tier, yeah. Square off. Wild Strikes, Quick Step, Bloodhound Step, and Quick Step. I think I took into account PvP here as well. That's probably why. Seppuku. Seppuku was broken back then. They nerfed that. Flame of the Red Mains got nerfed hard too. Glintstone Pebble? Based. Sacred Order? I think I meant to put Golden Vow. I think I mistaken that one for Golden Vow. Because put Golden Vow into the B tier. That's Sacred Order. I probably fucked that up. I don't know. Giant Hunt. Prelate's Charge? You're a bum. Ways of Darkness? Honestly, based. Flaming Strike. Blood Tax was like a lot slower back then. Same with Sacred Spear. Prayerful Strike should have been the S tier. What is like anything agreed? Cragblade in the B tier. This was actually better back then too. Cragblade back in the days was actually better. That's crazy. Because I think it used to give you like 20% more stance damage instead of 10% more stance damage. Yeah, that was dumb. Holy Grounds, Valve the Indomitable. Oh, come on. Carrion Grandeur should have been higher. Vacuum Slash should be higher. That's the worst list in the world. Barricade Shield should be higher. Spectral Lance in the S tier is fucking based. I don't care what anybody says. It's probably like the best like ranged-based stance breaking option in the game. The damage kind of sucks, but the stance damage is actually insane. My lighting, I didn't have like a key light back then. And my camera and my lighting were like so whack. Let's see if I can go like, hold up. Look how I looked back then. Wait a second. Let me hide it on. Look at that. Look at old Yui.
Counter Retaliation has much better parry frames.
It's true. Carry Retaliation does have better parry frames. The lighting was terrible. Roll Catching King. The Iron Cleaver is the Roll Catching King. It's really good. Tier list of 100 incantations. Oh, boy.
Get into it. Hopefully I remember the names all.
Why so red? Because the lighting was off. That's why. Oh, my God. I don't want to look at this. Catch Flame STK. Bestial Sling used to be broken. It used to be really good, and they nerfed it to the ground. Burner Flame, valid. XX Decay was a lot better back then, and it got nerfed. Swarm of Flies got nerfed as well. Having the dragon spells on the S tier. Fire is Deadly... Oh, it was bugged. Fire's Deadly Sin is S tier because it was bugged. They nerfed that shit too. Pest Threads in the S tier, wow. Flame of Frenzy in S tier? Fucking based. This is a solid S tier. Ancient Dragons Lightning Strike in the A tier. What the fuck are you doing? It was looking good for like 5 seconds. What are you doing putting Ancient Dragons Lightning Strike into the A tier? Was it because they thought it was like too slow? That's way too high. Frenzied Burst should be into the S tier as well. Not the worst list. Not the worst list. Scarlet Aeonia into the D tier. They are not outclassed. The fortification spells are really good because they have really low requirements. They're not outclassed, you bum. Discus of Light into the D tier is crazy. What an idiot. What an idiot. It wasn't the worst list. I did the impossible. This fight took 7 hours. This is like the inception of me hating the Godskin duo. This fucking thing right here. If you want to see me like just die for like 15 minutes straight, you can go watch that video. Beating Elden Ring only using Fire's Deadly Sin. That was the run. A tier list of all the bosses? Oh, we gotta see this. We have got to see the tier list of all the bosses.
But yeah, with that being said, I don't really care for most.
We have to see this. Radagon number 1. Morgoth's Godfrey, all S tier. Okay. Why is my camera so big? Why am I looking like this? What the hell is this? Bro, cut your hair. Shave. What's wrong with you? Get my shit together. We're done. Godric into the A tier. Tibia Mariner. What the fuck did Tibia Mariner do there? Godskin Duo. Yeah, where it belongs. Fiery Giant in the same tier as the Bell-Bearing Hunter. I didn't like the Bell-Bearing Hunter. I put the Elden Beast into the C tier. Margit into the B tier. Moog into the B tier. Honestly, the Valiant Gargoyles into the B tier. What the fuck are you doing? Maybe I just thought it was just like the regular Gargoyle fight, but even then, the Gargoyle fights, every single one is the D tier. Ancient Dragons, they should all be into the D tier. Godric is not A tier for me, honestly. Tibia Mariner, honestly, fucking based. The Torches video was like one of my first shit posts. Actually, it was my second shit post. Gideon and the D tier as well. Fucking great.
Torch, just looking at the design choices really quick, we'll compare it back to the regular torch, and it is identical in its design. And as somebody that has about a year's worth of design torch experience, I'm just not too big of a fan of this design choice whatsoever. As for the lighting, though, it does give off a more fiery and orange vibe to the light, which I'm a bigger fan of compared to the Mexican movie Yellow.
Mexican movie Yellow. That's crazy. Where's my ranking? Fortnite Tactical Shotgun, Dark Souls 2 hitboxes, Demon Slayer animes mid, true. My favorite torch build, Rivers of Blood.
Portion of the video. So obviously going to be doing damage against Steven to test out. I'm using the basic torch because it is the best torch in the game in terms of its damage. However, what we want to use this build is pretty much use the high damage of the torch itself, get him really weak, and just use something else to clean him up. So as you see right now, a lot of damage has been done. So at this point, you can just really switch to your off and open the Rivers of Blood and just clean him up. As such,
that's a pretty good build, honestly. Pretty good build. A tier list of the weapon classes. Okay.
What's going on, guys? It's Yui here.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Did I do this on stream? Oh, I didn't. Oh. How did I do this tier list? This better be... Okay, katanas, curved swords, straight swords, great swords, thrusting swords, reapers. No. No. Nah, claws into the C tier. Great hammers in the B tier. Get him out of here. I don't want to see this guy anymore. My top 10 weapons. My top 10 favorite weapons. Let's go see this video.
My top 10
viewer competition. What's this?
Ugly looking characters. This is for you. What you gotta do?
Oh, I remember I did that video. Oh, we gotta watch that video. The Blade of Calling, Eleonora's Coded Sword, Morgoth's Cursed Sword, Bandit's Curved Sword. I like that one. Envoy's Horn, based. Ansper Rapier. Why did I like that shit? Death's Poker, Bolter Grandsax, the Grave Scythe, and then my actual favorite weapon, the Marika's Hammer.
By far.
I wanted it to get buffed, so I didn't actually put it into the list because, like, they need to buff it. Returning to Dark Souls video. First time playing Dark Souls in 7 years. That was true. Using bad weapons until From Software buffs them. The war pick. Didn't get buffed. Didn't get buffed. Oh, this is my greatest video, by the way.
A whip.
Top 10 Elden Ring characters. Look, I actually did this as a viewer competition on my Discord, and I had people send into the Discord like they were stupid looking characters, and I picked the top 10 best ones. So stupid. You can't even see the face because the subscribe button. 144p. This is way too loud. You can't even see their names either. One of the greatest Dewey videos. Too political. That's good stuff. A reskinned bosses tier list. Guy who skips dialogue and knows nothing about lore does an NPC tier list. Insane new light roll. That's right, light roll. That's right, they buffed it. Patch 1.06. Rivers of Blood, Bloodhound Step nerf.
It's finally here. The new...
What was this update? Summoning signs to pools in multiple areas, including distant areas.
Summoning signs is sending... Why can't they add the option
Added the function to invade in a larger area, including distant areas.
to be able to invade in like multiple areas? It's here.
I actually remember that. I actually talked about it like 2 days before this actually happened. I was like, they need to actually have an invasion function so you can like click an invade button and invade anywhere in the map. And they did that. And they actually changed it to where you could do Vari's questline by actually not being online. Reduce the time it takes to roll. So it actually buffed a lot of the attacks. Motion speed of strong attacks and charge attacks. For Greatswords, curved Greatswords, and Great Hammers. Increased guard counter's motion speed. Increase the hitbox of the Scythe Potter weapon skill. Increase the range of Glintstone Pebble and Dart projectile. While decreasing the damage and stagger power. They nerfed Glintstone.
Fighters horribly.
Actually, never did. I forgot about that one.
Warrior.
I forgot about that one. Decrease the travel distance and invincibility frames of the Ashura Bloodhound Step. So yeah, it's only good when you like light roll now.
Long and hard.
Decrease the tracking of Stars of Ruin. That was the PvP update. What went wrong with the crafting system? Top 10 Faith weapons. Halo Scythe, number 8. Oh, Bubble Only versus... Oh my god, Bubble Only versus Radagon Elder Beast took 26 minutes? That's disgusting. Top 10 Faith weapons.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Chewy here.
And my friend just got engaged, but from what we've been told, I'm not a fan of her BF. Interesting. Blasphemous Blade number 1, Godslayer's Greatsword 2, Coated Sword 3, Wing Scythe 4. Oh, because of PvP, I guess. I put PvP gameplay in there. Envoy's Longhorn. And it got nerfed. Vikes War Spear. Oh, because of PvP. Is this a PvP only list? I think it's both. Magworm Scale Sword, that came back around. Halo Scythe, Black Knife, Silurius Tree. That's a pretty solid top 10. That's a solid top 10 Faith Weapons list. React to some rants? I don't think I want to react to rants. Dark Souls PvP better. True. The Kratos build. A Dark Souls 3 boss tier list. I don't want to see that. A tier list. This weapon is very underrated. It's so fast. Oh, actually, they buffed the Ordavis' Greatsword. There was patch 1.07 where they buffed it. Look at that fucking lag. Wait a minute. No, that's not the actual update. Where's me actually covering the update? There it is. Poking nerfed, all spells buffed. Rivers of Blood buffed. What was this update? Increases speed of some Colossal Sword attacks. And the speed and hit detection of Colossal Sword crouching attacks have been, as they nerfed the crouching pokes. Actually, like, nerfed them pretty hard. And I think they buffed them again later. I forget. Increased guard penetration for the following weapons. Wow. Most replayed. What was this one?
Before you could only go one direction. But now you
Oh
can
yeah,
hit-
they maintained it so you can track with a Sword of Night and Flame. Nice. The Death Ritual Spear got an increase in terms of damage. Increased directional control for the Thundercloud form. Increase the duration of attack power and poise damage, the effect that the weapon magic or weapon gives the weapon a magic attribute. Was this? Was that the health and steeple? Rose's summons increase motion speed. I kind of forget about half of these fucking things. Increase attack power, motion speed, and poise damage. Ordovis's Greatsword was actually mid back then and actually only got better with this update. I kind of forget. I thought it's always been good. Well, clearly. I forgot. That was 2 years ago? What the heck? Hogwarts Legacy is a Souls-like. That was my 3 minutes highlights of me playing Hogwarts Legacy and being like, this thing is trash. My Elden Ring review after 1 year. That's crazy. I don't want to look at any of these tier lists. Look at how many like shitty videos I was dropping. There's the grandma video. I'm not reacting to the grandma video. That's not happening. I made so many videos. Why do I have so many videos? Best boss weapons. That's a nice thumbnail. Go open the door if somebody else is doing it. Anyway, look how many views my Liza P videos got. 500,000, 300,000. Damn. And Lords of the Fallen came out like just afterwards. Didn't get as many views. Worst Elden Ring player does a no-hit run. Anyway, damn. And then we actually started getting better at making videos and made better quality stuff. Actually, one video that I want to check out. Wait. It was a DLC predictions video. It was, I want to see if I got any of this stuff right, because I know I made a video like this. Yeah.
And death, we definitely need more of those.
Expectations, or 7 things that need to be in the DLC. Expectations. Let's see how right I was, chat.
The expectation for the Elden Ring DLC is that it's going to have really nice areas, amazing bosses, really cool weapons and spells, and probably some really nice looking armor sets as well. Now,
Yeah, that was right so far.
the reason as to why that's going to be the expectation is because every other DLC before this one has pretty much had those exact same things. So it's probably going to be a given that we're going to get at least that much. For some other additional predictions that I do have, in terms of its release date, I think it's going to be released next year, probably around about February with the
It didn't happen, chat. It was not February. But it was the next year.
2-year anniversary. It's definitely not going to clash with the Armored Core release date, so it's probably most likely going to get next year. As for how large it's going to be, my prediction is that it's going to be 2 Limgrave-sized areas.
It was a bit larger than 2 Limgrave-sized areas, wasn't it? Do you have all your vids saved? Yeah, I do.
And they're going to be pretty dense and filled up Limgrave-sized areas as well. Probably going to have maybe 1 or 2 legacy dungeons in each. Probably
So 4 legacy dungeons in total.
we're going to have 3 main bosses in each area as well. Now,
There was more than 6 main bosses. So it was a lot larger than I thought it was going to be.
in terms of the first area, it's probably going to be what we see in the promo art. Probably stuff centered around Mikkeller and Godwin as well. But as for the
We didn't see anything Godwin related.
second area, hear me out. Hear me out. For the second area, we're going to go to space. Yes, you heard me correct. We're going to space. We're probably
Chat, we didn't go to space.
going to fight the outer gods. You heard it here first.
We didn't do it.
Guaranteed. Put a
No,
stamp on that
we
bitch.
didn't get to go to
But
space.
with that out of the way, let's just get into the video. As always, please
Mikkeller? Is that how you say your name? Mikkeller.
do like and subscribe.
Mikkeller.
We have a bunch more videos.
22,000 subscribers? What the hell
Please
was that
do
about?
like and subscribe.
That must have been like an older thing, because I had way more than that point, didn't I?
Because I do have a bunch more videos
Why ignore me? What did you say? I don't know.
coming along the way. And do follow me on Twitch because I should be live.
Shut the fuck up.
DLC is a dedicated endgame PvE game mode.
We didn't get a dedicated PvE endgame mode. We didn't get one.
Exactly that. We just need one of them. We haven't had one before in any other Souls games. Maybe Sekiro, we did have some like a boss rush mode.
Oh, why didn't we get something cool? We didn't get that.
Up for it. Number 2, we definitely need more faith and intelligence options. We literally only have one weapon in the
We got one other weapon, chat. We didn't get another one. We didn't get another one. What was the third thing? Covenants. We didn't
free
get
change I would
covenants
like
either.
to have is covenants. We need covenants in the game.
We didn't get covenants either. We got a new weapon class. We didn't get a flail rework. We got 8 new weapon classes, which I was not predicting. Does Meteor count? Maybe.
Now the next thing I'd actually want to get added.
Smith's get weapons? They're not in faith. I mean, like, I know, the thing is, the game needed, like, an actual damage type tied behind intelligence faith, like, you know, like Dark Souls 2 and Dark Souls 3 had. I see you, Luke. You have a good one, man. We didn't get one of those. Lightning changes.
Now number 5, I would actually give lightning an identity because it really doesn't have one at the moment. It's kind of half tied to dexterity, half tied to faith.
That's still
and
true.
It's not really.
We did get
completely
lightning faith weapons. This one kind of happened.
fleshed out. You definitely need a lightning arts infusion, like you have a flame art.
We didn't get any more new infusions. That didn't happen. But we did get lightning faith weapons. Make holy damage useful. They did do that.
Can holy damage please not be bad in the DLC? Like it's terrible in the base game. Like
Not terrible. It's just dog shit compared to the rest, I guess. I don't know.
talking about how Godwin's going to be part of the DLC.
Godwin wasn't even part of the DLC. Somebody tell Madeline, I don't know what's wrong with you. Stop spamming my name.
And Deathblight might be a thing, so bosses might be weak to holy. But if it takes place before Godwin actually died, then there's no such thing as Deathblight. So I'm probably thinking that.
And the funny thing is, enemies that actually are like susceptible to Deathblight or do Deathblight are actually resist to holy damage, which is funny.
Enemies are still going to be resistant to holy, which sucks ass. Also, while we're at it, please add Radigons and Morgoth's incantations. Please.
We didn't get those. We didn't get those. PvE status
Here's the
effect
thing.
changes.
Now, the last thing I would
Death and madness, that didn't happen either.
this one just made this video so we can actually, add the things that the community does.
They didn't. They didn't. They're not gonna. They didn't. I was right. That didn't happen. I feel like I had like another DLC. I feel like I'd like another DLC. Was Miyazaki lying about the Elden Ring DLC?
Because if you're adding new weapon categories, you got to add like 3 or 4 weapons of each one. And then on top of that, you got to add weapons for classes that are already in the game too. And if the DLC is going to be like Limgrave, or maybe even like twice the size of Limgrave, that means you're adding like 100 weapons in that. Which like
There was 100 weapons added. I was right about that. Tell me the best spears and hammers in Dark Souls 2. The best spear in Dark Souls 2 is... Fuck. Let me look at the list. Three to four weapons that age well. Yeah, that was right. Probably the Yogg spear is pretty good. Hide spear is okay as well. No, Dragon Slayer spear is kind of mid, wasn't it? Yeah, I think so, yeah. In terms of hammers, the Craftsman's hammer.
base game has 250. There's going to be a second area, like 100%. There's going to be like some crazy ass...
We didn't go to space, chat. I said it. I thought we were going to go to space. We didn't go to space.
Said slightly bigger than Limgrave? Yeah, I know he said that. He could fucking lie. Because like...
I was right. I predicted Miyazaki lied.
Nobody's gonna get mad at him if it was actually bigger than what he says. Like, the scenery looks really cool, but I feel like they can go a bit harder and do like some crazy ass things. Slightly bigger than Limgrave could mean as big as the base game maps. I still stand by what I've been saying the entire time, that like it's probably gonna be the size of like 2 Limgraves.
I was wrong. I'm not watching the grandma video.
Area, but a lot of it's like really big and empty.
Why don't we watch the grandma video? 10 things Elden Ring got wrong. Do I want to watch that? Okay, where's my shitpost playlist? Can we watch gameplay footage? Gameplay footage of what? Like old gameplay footage from back in the day? Do I have any like boss gameplay from back in the day? Because a lot of the gameplay that I have from way back when is PvP stuff. It's just all PvP related things. I did like show off like some older like types of spells and skills that are pretty slow. And like a lot of things just end up getting a speed increase. Like the past 2 years, like Elden Ring weapons have just gotten like a lot faster. Well, 3 years now. Playlists. Where's my shitpost playlist? Best weapons for laggy PvP fights. Why did I make that? We're not watching the grandma video. It's not happening. This is probably my favorite one here. That's probably my favorite video. The top 10 animals.
A Malflung. Anyway, this weird...
I don't watch it though. The poll says that you have to? Why the fuck would I want to do that?
Domestic violence, but...
No. No. That's not happening. That's so ass. We're not... We're not watching the grandma vid. Get the fuck out of here. We're not watching the grandma vid. That's not happening. Coward? Yeah. I'm not doing it. I'm a changed man. I'm gonna delete that video as well. I'm a changed man. What's my most popular video? Ranking the builds. Why does this have so many views? 947,000. Jeez, man. Quality builds at the bottom. Intelligence Arcane. Pure Arcane at the bottom. I suppose like Faith Arcane is directly outclasses it, I guess. I don't know. Kinda. Pure Dexterity. Faith and Intelligence. Arcane Strength. There wasn't many weapons back then, so it's fair. Pure strength. I think pure strength and pure dexterity are pretty good. Intelligence strength, that should be lower. Faith strength probably should be higher. Pure intelligence and pure faith, that's valid. Dexterity faith should be lower. Dexterity arcane should be a bit lower too. Intelligence dexterity. There's like some really broken open options. That's kind of fair. And then faith arcane number 1. That's the best. Completely valid. All 28 DLC incantations ranked. I think I was wrong about these bosses. This is a shit video. Because I remember I put like the fucking sword lance into the B tier here.
Obviously, there's going to be some spoilers, none of which is going.
What the heck? I fucking hate YouTube sometimes. Trying to open up the fucking thing, it doesn't work. That's still relevant. I'm not gonna be able to get mad at that one. That was probably gonna be a pretty solid video. Damn, like half of my DLC weapons, half of my DLC videos ended up getting this high. Somehow my Dark Souls 1 top 10 best weapons video has almost 600,000 views, which is insane. Insane stuff. I'm not watching the grandma video. Go away. All 90 skills ranked. I don't want to do I don't do anymore. I don't do that. Why does it have so many views though? I don't know. People like katanas, huh? The fashion contest got 200,000 views?
Grandma vid.
I'm not watching the grandma vid. You guys can watch it in your own time. Thank you for the sub though, John. Appreciate it, man. That was your John. The 10 months. We're not doing that one. No. Do I have like another tier list out there? All 34 magic weapons ranked. Armored Core. My Rusty reaction video got 160,000 views. Jeez. Shout out to Rusty. Tier list of all weapons. That was 3 years ago. Well, 2.5 years ago, I guess.
As somebody that has successfully
Oh
reviewed
my
all
god,
200
no. I don't want to hear that. Okay, let's go look at this. Rivers of Blood, Blasphemous Blade, Moonveil, Guts' Greatsword. Yeah, that's kind of fair. Bloodhound Fang, Godslayers. See, why is the Wing Scythe... This has to take into account PvP as well. Why is the Wing Scythe into the S tier? Bolter Grandsax is only A tier? Anspur Rapier, Reduvia. Starfist is only into the A tier? Bloodhound Claws and the Venomous Fang? Come on now. Wing of Estelle only into the A tier? Magoblade into the B tier? What are you doing, buddy? What are you doing? Why is a Sing Kadea that fucking high? I don't think this is actually like in order. I think it's just like... Oh, it says readjusting the rankings. I guess it was. Never mind. The trash tier. The Cane Sword. Vari's Bouquet. That's not even that bad. The Magwhip Candlestick is not even the worst thing in the world. I don't know why that's... It's better than the Giant's Red Braid, honestly. I don't think it's amazing, but it's not that bad. Yeah, the Cranial Vessel Candlestand should be higher. And the Winged Greathorn should be higher as well. The skill is actually useful. I put the Ordovices and the Regalia into the C tier. I mean, Ordovices is pre-buff, so that's fair, I guess. I rightfully put the Eclipse Shuttle back into the C tier. The Serpent Hunter into the C tier. Pretty sure this guy just says, pay attention to what he says and not what the placements of the weapons are. That's what this guy does say. But when you're like off by this much, not right. Whatever that you say, you're wrong. He's a bum. Ranking the Liza P bosses. Anyway. How to access the DLC. Is there anything else that I want to react to? I want a Yui themed Stanley Cup. What? I'm not gonna watch the grandma vid. That's not gonna happen. Fine, watch the grandma video, whatever. Why did this happen?
Short limgrave grass. The starting area.
Short limb. That's the grass tier list. That was the fucking.
Hopefully they're just as good. Menu.
I don't want to watch this chat. I'm not watching it. Not watching it. I take it back. I take it back. It's so cringe. I can't. I take it back. The grass tier list is peak? Yeah. I'm not watching it. It's fucking cringe. You guys can watch it. It's actually cringe. It's not even funny. It's just stupid. You opened it, yeah, opened it, listened to it for a second. It's funny as hell. It's like the least funny thing of all time.
But before we talk
Instantly laugh. 10 minutes exactly, by the way. Damn, this was peak.
Now I fight as Horaloo.
I reached the 10-minute mark.
Warrior.
Furry Hitler. What the fuck is this?
Oh, these are all the skins. Yo, these are like awesome. We should definitely have these in Fortnite. Drop a like down below if you guys want to see these skins in Fortnite. See, I'm probably going to go with a prisoner because my dad's locked up. So, like, big ups to him. But I'm probably going to go with the samurai because I love anime. Yo, is it like a kid's picture book? Yo, there's cleavage in this game. Let's go.
I can't, bro. This is so ass. This is so ass. This is so ass. It's so fucking ass. Oh, it's so ass. I can't do it. Show us Sabo. She's sleeping on the floor like a little cutie. What are those arm movements? I didn't know. It was like in the moment. It's like, yo. I don't know what the fuck it was. Didn't finish it. I can't finish it. I'm cringing too hard. I can't do it. I can't do it. It's so stupid. It's like the. I don't remember when. Why did I make that? Oh, it was the April Fool's video, wasn't it? Yeah, it was April Fool's. Yeah. When will Sabo be added to the profile picture? I don't know. You developed an accent since then. Well, I was putting on an accent for that video. Sabo cam? No, she's not sleeping in her bed. She's sleeping over here.
Yui gang.
There's no camera here. You made it for April Fool's, but also your birthday? That is true, because April 1st is my birthday. That is correct. What other shit posts could we potentially watch? I mean, my Torch shit post is pretty funny. The grandma video is dog shit. And then I made another, my last April the 1st is coming up soon as well. Chat, what do I do for my next April Fool's video? I gotta think of something. I actually did a feat. I think my first one I did a feat tier list. So I did a feat tier list for the first one. Then I did the grandma video. And then I did the Soulsborne games ranked. Ranking the Soulsborne games. But I did it as a joke. Made it last 10 minutes exactly. Nice. Pretend you hate Elden Ring. Grandma DLC edition. Do a part 2 of that video. Do you know the funny thing is? When I actually dropped that video, I actually lost subscribers. I lost like 30 subscribers when I dropped that video. I want to see that golden sync again. It's behind my play button. You guys are never going to be able to see it. I remember when you were hired by SpaceX for a day? Yeah, I got hacked. My channel got hacked. And like some SpaceX videos took over. I was so upset. Make a lore theory video? I actually always wanted to make a video where like I just do a shitpost lore video. Where like I actually have like some crazy ass like theories like linking the games between each other and having the most like wildest, dumbest shit. Elden Ring review video, but you talk about it, about it's like Feeble King talks about Dark Souls 2. I've never seen a Feeble King video. That'd be funny. I've got to think of a concept though and try and make it interesting. Could do something like that. What else should I react to? Is there any other like interesting videos that I have out there? What are my most popular shorts? Damn, I have lots of fucking views on some of these shorts. Is Holy Damage gonna be good in the DLC? Think Holy Damage will slap in the DLC? I don't think so. I don't think it'll be as bad as it is in the base game. I think it'll be just the same as all the other elements. Because like how all the other DLCs ended up going from all the other Souls games is that a lot of bosses were just very elemental resist. And if they were weak to a particular stat, it was still pretty high. Like, but then they actually added the scatter tree system. That actually didn't do that. Idea, for example, that boss fight had what 60% lightning resist, and he was weak to lightning. All boss fights from all the Souls games, Bloodborne, Dark Souls 2, all the DLCs, they were just very, very elemental resist. But hopefully, at the very least, the only thing we can ask for is for them not to be just really or most resist to holy damage, basically. A holy spell buff or debuff, we end up getting a weapon skill buff or debuff. We ended up getting one of those. That's pretty cool. What else is interesting? I have a lot of videos, like holy shit. Why do I have so many videos? Make a lore video on how Mikola the Tickler is actually a Kid Gwyn. The Flask short? The Torch PvP video, please? The Torch PvP video. Nah, it's probably just me playing PvP. Be kind of shit. An elevated tier list. I could do an elevated tier list. Play Terraria? No. Will not be playing Terraria. What if I react to this stream? Should I react to this stream chat? This is like a pretty good stream. This stream chat? No. When are we playing League? We're not playing League. Show us some Lords of the Fallen videos. Lords of the Fallen videos. What are my thoughts on Lords of the Fallen? I actually had a video where I compared... Where is it? I did a Lies of P versus Lords of the Fallen video. So I have beaten both Lords of the Fallen and Lies of P about 5 times, whether it be using different builds, going into New Game Plus, or beating the game at level 1. So I actually do feel like I am qualified to make this video. I am qualified, chat. Level design. But the areas themselves, not the entire game and how it all interconnects. Now, with the level design for both games, actually is pretty linear. It is like one set narrow path from boss to boss, but both games do have a nice amount of branching paths that do offer some nice exploration and rewards. Now, one thing that I actually do appreciate about both games is that every single room and section does actually look different to the last. There's rarely moments where I actually walk in a room and it looks very similar and end up getting lost. Now, Lies of P doesn't really innovate with its level design as it is pretty traditional, but it did perfect the interconnected level by having all these well-designed shortcuts that lead back to the Stargazer. And they also have a healthy amount of Stargazers as well, so it feels very nice to just progress from area to area with no backtracking. And coupled with a nice amount of enemies that are well placed, it feels like a really smooth combat experience. Level design was
peak
in Lies of P.
Nice exploration with little to no frustration. Now with Lords of the Fallen though, they actually really did innovate in terms of the level design by adding a second world. They actually added the Umbra world to where you actually die.
Honestly, the worst part of the game.
you actually can manually teleport there to have a whole separate experience in the level design. Now, this is actually pretty cool because having two separate areas means it actually adds extra elements to exploration, and for them specifically actually allowed them to add more puzzles in the areas as well. Now, unfortunately, you don't really benefit much by being in the regular world, as most of the exploration and all the secrets are hidden in the Umbra world, because the way that it stands right now is that the regular world is kind of like your easy mode. You have an extra life, less enemies, but you also get less rewards. Whereas the Umbra world is the harder version with just more rewards. But being that in most cases, you kind of have to be in the Umbra world just to progress through the area.
That's what made it super annoying. Yeah.
It doesn't really offer you much of a choice. I wish there was both different experiences with their own secrets, own enemies, which can actually be another issue. All the enemies in the regular world can actually be in the Umbra world at the exact same time. So there's plenty of times to when you just die, you get teleported to the Umbral, and then you just get overwhelmed by a bunch of enemies, and you kind of just forced to run away. I just wish they were completely separate, which could actually still work because the harder enemies are actually still in the Umbra world, so it still will make for the harder experience. And in terms of the puzzles, they're actually very basic. They kind of just served as random obstacles to just extend the playtime.
True.
And another small complaint that I do have is that the Umbra world kind of just all looks the exact same. It's kind of hard to navigate. It's not as easy or as fluid as it is with just the regular world. But if I were to talk about just the level design itself outside of the secondary world, it is very similar to Lies of P in terms of its well-designed shortcuts, but it is not as good, as there are some shortcuts that are just completely useless. And also the game's level design is actually balanced around you creating your own checkpoints, as there aren't many vestiges throughout the world, which I'm actually okay with if they actually allowed you to have more than one checkpoint up at a time, which they don't. So overall, Lords of the Fallen is really good, and I'm happy that they actually did innovate and change things up, but Lies of P was just a masterclass in level design.
True.
Getting into the world design. Now, this is actually going to be a pretty broad category, as it does cover the overall vibe and atmosphere of the game, as well as how the world all connects and progresses. Now, starting off with Lies of P, it's extremely linear. It's just one area after the other, which can be fine because it's like impossible to fuck up or get lost. But it could still be an issue in terms of build creation because instead of having 20 weapons open to you at the beginning, you only have 5. Now, this isn't much of an issue on your first playthrough, but if you have the second or third, you're definitely going to wish you had more freedoms. Now, the world itself does actually interconnect really well. Playing the entire first half of the game and seeing it all wrap back around to the start is honestly insane. Now, unfortunately, the second half doesn't really do this as well. We've ever heard that one before, but it doesn't really mean much as you can just teleport anywhere. Now, one criticism I actually do have as well is that a lot of the areas do look very similar. It's just one dull, dark area leading into the next dull, dark area, which I guess does fit the theme of the game itself. And being that it actually has more of a realistic setting, it does make more sense compared to the fantasy setting of Lords of the Fallen. But just for me personally, I do prefer to see a more diverse color palette. As for the overall vibe of the game though, it is just phenomenal. The game has such great character to it. The NPCs are very well made. The environmental storytelling with how the enemies can interact is really good. And sometimes it's just the little things that just really make this game stand out.
Close your eyes.
What a fantastic game. This is a good video. Now I'm like invested in this video.
Come to me.
Now, as for Lords of the Fallen, this game is not as linear. You have a bunch more areas accessible to you for exploration earlier on, which once again is great for build creation. However, in Lords of the Fallen, it isn't the most intuitive in terms of progression, as you'll get like a random key sometimes, and you'll be left like, okay, now which of the thousands locked doors does this one unlock? But something that actually does really well—
I kind of forgot what the video was like about. This is actually a good video.
And is having a bunch of these like beacons that are lit up in the sky to actually try and tell you where you actually should be going next. It actually is a very good form of environmental storytelling.
That's true. Good point. Damn, this guy's good. This guy's good. Can you rank the best combinations for Lies of P? I did make 2 separate videos going over like really good combinations. So go check out my Lies of P playlist.
And another thing is that every single area looks extremely different.
I'm not gonna watch it myself, being that we're doing it right now, so.
To the last, which obviously does differ a lot from Lies of P. Just like traversing from a snow area to a lava area that goes into like some deep underground area, it actually is really cool. But in terms of the overall vibe, it is actually pretty nice. It's very dark and depressing like Lies of P. However, in Lies of P,
Fouled me, thank you for the follow.
it does feel a little bit more creepy and nuanced, whereas in this game, it feels like everyone is just fucking pissed off, which honestly, I can get behind. I respect that, but I feel like this was just done better in Lies of P. So overall, in terms of world design, I prefer the freedoms in Lords of the Fallen, but I prefer the overall vibe of Lies of P. So honestly, I'll just give this one a tie.
That's a bit of a cop-out answer. That's bum.
Probably should have separated these things, but you guys get the idea. Getting into the graphics and art design, both of these games do it extremely well. It is just going to be very subjective as to what type of art style you do prefer. For me personally, I just tend to prefer a more medieval setting, so I actually might lean more towards Lords of the Fallen actually does get some very decent variety as well. You can get some of this amazing scenery with the cool medieval fantasy castles, or you can get some like extremely like just weird hellish scenes as well. And just progressing through the overworld in Lords of the Fallen, you end up getting this much
I do like Lords of the... I don't know. It
more
looks cool.
grand visuals. But things that Liza P actually does do better, in my opinion, is facial animations. They just look a lot better. The cutscenes are also a lot better. And I just feel like the animation quality in general just feels much more smooth and not really as jank as it does feel in Lords of the Fallen sometimes. But for me on this one, I'm actually going to lean more towards Lords of the Fallen because those visuals are insane. Bosses and enemies. Now, both games have just flawless...
Medieval. Yes, medieval. You're ready to pick up my Rex streamer? Yeah.
boss and enemy art designs. They just like look really cool, have really cool animations as well. So yeah, in terms of design, there's like nothing bad I can say about them. 10 out of 10. But unfortunately, it kind of just ends there in terms of the balance because Liza P just clears in terms of enemies. They're just way more nuanced. They have way more...
That's true. All true. Everyone hates me. Well, that's your fault.
More cool and unique interactions, whether it be deflecting the weapon and having it get snapped in half, or even the most basic enemies having like a rabid beast for a second phase. Whereas in Lords of the Fallen, it feels like a lot of the enemies are just way more basic and don't really have much nuance to their movesets at all. Because the way I feel is actually balanced is that in Liza P, is that you have not many enemies throughout the overworld, but they're just more difficult and more challenging to fight against. Whereas in Lords of the Fallen, they're more basic, but there's just way more enemies, which in my opinion, I'd rather just fight the few enemies that are actually challenging instead of just a clusterfuck of just basic bitches, not gonna lie. And also, Liza P, it just adds like new enemies in almost every single area. You either go up against like a new mini boss or just a new group of enemies, and obviously this makes the whole game feel a lot more fresh. Whereas in Lords of the Fallen, they kind of introduce like all their enemies right at the beginning and just kind of just use them throughout the entirety of the game. Some areas do change it up a little bit, but for the most part, they're exactly the same, especially like the last few areas. They don't
I know why this video got some hate. People that got mad about me for this video. I didn't actually watch the comments for this video. I read the comments for this video for like ever. Like after like the first day, I was like so mad because people were just being like on like both sides. People that hate that like Lords of the Fallen were just like, how the fuck could you say Liza P did this better? And people that like Liza P better was like, how the fuck did you say Lords of the Fallen won this one instead? It's like people just like skip to the actual fucking like the scores and nobody actually cared to watch. I don't know. I don't want to read them now. It's going to piss me off.
Like every single area just has a dog for some reason. And in terms of the bosses, this one's not close as well. Lords of the Fallen bosses are just incredibly basic. Some of them are actually really cool and fun to fight against, but their quality of bosses feel like it's very dated. They feel like the Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 2 era of bosses and how basic they actually feel. Whereas Liza P definitely feels very modernized. Definitely feels like I'm playing like next-gen Souls-like bosses because they're all like really complicated and they're actually really challenging as well, which is what they should be, which in Lords of the Fallen isn't really like that. They're pretty easy. There was plenty of times where I just like walk up to the boss, especially in my first playthrough.
They actually did buff the bosses a lot since then. So.
First tried the boss, which should not be happening, especially with how challenging it actually is to get to the boss itself. Like clearing out the area is such an arduous and hellish task, and the boss is just a cakewalk, which I'm just not too big of a fan of. Now obviously this is a bit more subjective, it actually might differ from person to person, but for me, I'd rather have difficult bosses and not as annoying and difficult areas to go through. But if you want to know more of my opinions on the Liza P bosses themselves, I have a whole dedicated video ranking all of them. So if you want to know my opinions specifically, you can go check that out. But I really like them. Next up, I want to talk about build creation. Now, I did want to label this build variety. However, Lords of the Fallen is like very deliberately going for good build creation and good build variety. And the other in Liza P is deliberately...
I think I didn't articulate this point as much as I would have liked. I think I remember this.
Not going for that because Liza P build creation is literally just the weapon itself and that is it. Just being able to like mix and match the hilts and the blades, which is an amazing concept by the way, to try and find like the perfect weapon combinations for movesets and weapon skills. It's really cool, but the reason why I say it doesn't have much build variety outside of that is because every single build just feels the exact same. I've done playthroughs with motility, technique, and advance, and every build just feels the same. And it's purely because that you can just keep on mix and matching different types of hilts with blades with almost every single type of build, and with using cranks you could pretty much just have the exact same weapons for all the builds, which is deliberate on their part because they actually want to make it to where you're just constantly changing up your weapon depending on what area you're actually going into. They just want you to constantly experiment and just use different types of stuff, which is just true because the game just throws a whole bunch of upgrade materials at you to just have all your weapons just be upgraded basically. And another reason as to why this is true is because there's no requirements. There's like no requirements for anything. You can just use whatever the fuck you want at all times. And even with Legion arms, it's kind of the exact same thing. Most of them kind of work the exact same way in that they're just like different versions of projectiles. But like depending on what area you're going through or depending on what boss you're fighting, you'd actually want to go with a different type of Legion arm. And with how stats actually work in this game, you don't really benefit much of actually going to level up an attribute stat compared to some of the other games. So using a Legion arm with any type of build is still going to be very viable. Now another thing that actually enhances the build creation of Liza P is going to be the P organ, the skill tree system, which skill trees don't really offer much in terms of build variety because you can just like max them all out and they're not really like limited in any way. So like
that was kind of a shitty point. One thing, what I should have said instead is that the actual like skills that they unlock don't really do anything to enhance a specific build. Not because you can just max it out, but because there isn't really anything there for every single like ability or a skill that like really enhances a particular type of like, you know, build. So like if there's nothing really specific for like an advanced type of build or nothing really specific for like a technique build compared to a motivity build, there really isn't anything there for the build creation. And for like the most part, you're picking the same stuff anyway to just boost your neutral game, which is not really build creation if you're just boosting your neutral game. There's like some stuff like specifically if you want to build around Legion arms to get like some like Legion arm regeneration like a bit better. That could help like a little bit. That's like the only one though. That's what I should have said instead. This is a shit point. Like it was kind of right. You cannot max them out. You can max out obviously you can get unlimited amount of quartz if you just keep going to New Game Plus and beyond. So like saying that you could just max them out was like a bad point. Because I know what I wanted to say, but I just didn't know how to say it. But now I do. And I kind of fucked that point up. Because I remember being stuck. I was like, why exactly don't I like the skill tree system of Liza P as it pertains to build creation? And it's because the actual like abilities themselves didn't really do anything to enhance a specific build. That's what I should have said.
Inherently, that is not going to be as good for build variety, but obviously all the really cool perks and stuff like that you can.
Yeah, like getting an extra cube use, being able to like dodge roll when you're on the ground. Getting an extra pulse cell, getting an extra fable charge, like doing more damage with fatal attacks and stuff. Like a lot of this shit is just boosting your neutral game. That's what it kind of is. It's nothing really specific to a build. So that's what I kind of meant when it comes to the build creation. Yeah.
Fire from the skill tree.
That's where Liza P kind of falls flat a bit.
Of the build itself. But yeah, the entire build variety of Liza P is just the weapons. There's 40 in total. Every single one does get its own unique moveset, and they all get 2 different weapon skills as well. One for the hilt and one for the blade. And most of these skills are actually unique, which if you guys did want to know, compared to Lords of the Fallen, it has 145 weapons, which is 100 more weapons than Liza P. And that only gets 15 different movesets and no weapon skills. Roughly 15. But that's still kind of crazy. So that's kind of an L on Lords of the Fallen.
Yeah, Lords of the Fallen had like basically no fucking movesets. How do you have that many weapons and like only have that many unique movesets? That's kind of crazy. Like imagine if Elden Ring had like... like people get mad at Elden Ring when having like, you know, like 300 weapons. And it probably has like 50 or so, probably more than 50 unique movesets. Probably way more than that, actually. Because like there's so many weapons that have like just a unique or slightly different heavy attack. So it's probably even way more than that. But yeah, only like 15 movesets.
Only gets 15 different movesets and no weapon
That's
skills.
including power stancing too.
Roughly 15, but that's still kind of crazy. So that's kind of an...
Because there's only like 2 power stancing combos. There's like one for smaller weapons and there's one for larger weapons. That's it.
On Lords of the Fallen part, I wish they did have some more movesets, but thankfully they actually have more going for it, because every single type of build does have its own range and projectile based options. Even with like your strength and dexterity based builds, they have the options of throwable objects, bows and crossbows.
That was really fucking huge. This is like the best thing that Lords of the Fallen did. Just having like your like projectile options for strength and dexterity be like just as good as like spell based options, because like they could just replenish automatically the same way that you can replenish spells. So that was amazing. That was really good.
They actually do work the exact same way as spells do, and they just replenish. They're not finite at all, which is an amazing concept. I've always wanted that in the Souls games. Please, From Software, do that. And the spells themselves are actually really cool as well. Every spell type does offer 20 different types of spells. There's a bunch of them that give you some really cool buffs, and there's a bunch of really good damaging and support.
And you can
type
switch
spells
them
as
up
well.
on the
So
fly. You can switch up your spells on the fly. You don't have to be at like a bonfire or grace to do it.
Already the build variety of Lords of the Fallen just from that alone is better, but I wouldn't say the build creation is as good until you actually go ahead and use things like the runes and the lamp sockets, because runes are kind of like your blood gems. You can just equip them onto your weapons, even your shield, which is something else.
But like less fucking randomized, which is better.
even mentioned, you can actually do shielded combat or power stance or two-handed. But the runes though are actually really nice additions to your build itself, because some of these things can add really nice perks to like your damage or your status effect build up or health regen. And then when it comes to your lamp socket, it kind of works very similar in how the runes do work. They just add some more effects and perks to your build itself, whether it just be some like more health regen in Umbral form, more damage to soul form, just adding another soul flame charge as well. One thing I also forgot to mention is the rings or amulets in Lies of P. I just feel like the Lords of the Fallen rings are just way more fleshed out than the amulets are in Lies of P, especially when you include the pendants as well. Because there's plenty of cool stuff out there for like stamina regen, health regen, boosting damage. But there's also really cool unique stuff out there, like being able to proc one status effect and it just inherently procs another one for free, or being able to cast different sorceries with the wrong catalyst. Also just makes build creation and min-maxing just amazing. So although the cool and unique
True. That's a good, very valid
stuff
point.
you can do with your build and Lords of the Fallen, you can like definitely min-max the fuck out of your build and just create the most broken ass stuff and just melt shit really quickly. Where I feel like you can't really do that in Lies of P. You still can really make some cool combinations, but the min-maxing potential, stacking buffs, finding the correct runes, equipping the correct lamp sockets, I just feel like that concept enhances the build creation a lot more. Combat. Okay, listen up. This will be the most important thing you guys will ever hear in your entire life.
Most important thing.
Lives.
I'm probably gonna, I think I say like that combat doesn't really mean much if your enemies or bosses suck. I think I say something like that.
Very important, everybody needs to know about this. Combat in the Souls games has very little to do with your player character's abilities. Obviously it has some importance, but what the Souls formula actually is, and what From Software innovated, or like re-innovated, I don't know, that's probably not the word, who cares? But they shifted the attention from the player character to the enemy or boss, which means that the combat is memorizing boss movesets and then reacting accordingly. Now this is the reason as to why we can just do nothing but spam the exact same button throughout the entire playthrough and it won't feel boring or stale, because every single time you fight a new enemy, it's a new experience. Look at a game like Sekiro, it's hailed as like the king of combat. All you're doing is clicking the L1 button. But why is it good? Because look at this shit. It's flawless. It's amazing. Now the deflect mechanic does have a lot to do with this, but the point of which I'm trying to make is that it doesn't matter how good your combat system is. If your enemies and bosses suck, your combat's gonna suck. But being that we already talked about bosses and enemies, we're just gonna separate that and purely talk about the combat system. Now both of these games have a very similar combat system, both get that same
I remember people
dodge.
got mad about this because I put Lords of the Fallout, I put Lords of the Fallen as the better combat, and people were like, how the hell would you put Lords of the Fallen as the better combat? Because they probably just skipped this part of it. And I said that, like, you know, if I'm looking at combat as a whole, including the enemies and bosses, then it's obviously Lies of P because it has the better enemies to fight. But if you're just looking at the specific combat system, then Lords of the Fallen is better. And people just didn't really understand that. The dodge roll and locked off, they both get a deflect mechanic, a poise breaking mechanic. They both can take partial damage when blocking. You can actually end up getting that health back when you do damage back yourself. And when staggering an enemy, you have to do a charged heavy attack to complete the posture break. They pretty much all work the exact same way, but the main difference is that Lords of the Fallen is just way more forgiving in all of those areas. You just get more iframes with your dodge, you can like sprint faster, you can roll further, your deflect frames are just way more forgiving as well. And you're not just limited to just using a charged heavy to get the posture break, you could also kick or parry. And in terms of getting your health back after blocking, in Lies of P, it just gradually goes down over time. Whereas in Lords of the Fallen, as long as you're not taking damage, that withering effect is actually never going to go down. And you can actually never die while blocking as well, because you just take no partial damage. Whereas in Lies of P, you actually can take partial damage, depending on the build that is. One thing I actually completely forgot about is that Lords of the Fallen doesn't actually get any backstabs at all, where Lies of P actually does, even though it is actually somewhat inconsistent. But Lords of the Fallen not having backstabs or traditional backstabs, I forgot about that.
at least, is definitely disheartening, because it just makes combat flow a lot nicer, especially when you're trying to get ganked by 1,000 different smaller enemies. But looking at other things that the games do offer, Lords of the Fallen does actually have, like, you know, spells and ranged options and projectiles that are a lot more fleshed out than the range and projectile options that Lies of P has. But one thing that Lies of P does get is a bunch of cool perks via the skill tree. Now, unfortunately, there are some, like, really, like, good perks that you feel like they should be part
Ultim, thank you for the follow.
of the base kit that are tied behind the skill tree, like being able to roll when you're just knocked down to the ground. Okay,
They did fix that one.
to chime in really quick, because actually was just a live stream today, and the developers did actually say they were going to fix this
Okay, cool.
issue, and actually might come around about later
Sure. I think they actually did fix that. But it's actually funny that the timeline actually happened at the same time. Cool.
this month. Or getting someone back of that guard regain health back when you deflect. But at least it's better than what you get in Lords of the Fallen, because every single time that you deflect, you still take a bit of chip damage, which is just like that withering damage, but it's still kind of annoying. And another perk on the skill tree, not being able to take durability damage when you deflect, is also something that should be just part of the base kit. I just hate durability in general, like in every single game. I don't know why they have to implement it into this one. Now, thankfully, it is like a little bit more fleshed out and actually is a cooler mechanic. And
One thing I didn't talk about is that you can power stance. So like when it comes to like the, I don't know. Maybe like the lack of move. I've talked about movesets with the build creation. I kind of separated them weird. I probably could have talked about like movesets or cooler movesets. I don't know.
Easily counted in Lies of P, but I still don't like it. So with all that being said, I feel like that Lords of the Fallen just has more upsides in terms of its combat system. But once again, bosses and enemies is most important. But I guess Lords of the Fallen can get the win on this one. Performance! Yeah, this is Lies of P. This is not even close. Lies of P is just like perfected. Haven't like encountered any bugs in that game. I think it's crashed on me like once in my hundreds of hours of playing. No frame drops. It just runs so fucking perfectly. Cannot say the same about Lords of the Fallen. I'm pretty sure everyone knows about it as well. I played it on
30 FPS in the hub world.
both PS5. I played it on PC as well. I have never had an experience where I've had 60 FPS for like longer than like 30 seconds straight, which for me, it's not like the biggest deal in the world. I've played Bloodborne, but unfortunately the problems don't just end there. There's still a bunch of random crashes, weird texture bugs, clipping issues, which thankfully they actually are improving on every day or every other day. There feels like they're just adding a new patch for this bunch of bug fixes and improving.
Look at this shit, man.
Which is nice, and hopefully like maybe like months from now it ends up being somewhat decent, but at the moment the performance is just not good and it should not have been released in this state. Okay, getting into replayability. Now replayability is basically just the PvP and New Game Plus. Now being that Lies of P has 0 online and Lords of the Fallen online is this complete dog shit. The servers are like worse than From Software somehow. Pretty sure the PvP is like already dead. So with that being said, I think nobody wins that one. By getting into the New Game Plus, for Lords of the Fallen, thankfully, they had an update to where they actually had the enemies not be complete bullshit, and they actually added some of the vestiges back as well.
They actually did have another update to where they added a actual like inherent randomizer mode. So there actually is a randomizer mode built into the game.
Because they had the intelligent idea when they made the game to not actually have any vestiges, which are your checkpoints.
That was the
throughout any
stupidest thing.
part of New Game Plus, which makes it just beyond unplayable and just completely obnoxious to play through. But thankfully now in New Game Plus, you actually have some of them back. Once you get to New Game Plus 2 and 3, you're basically going to have none left.
What did Lies of P do? Lies of P added more phases to your skill tree, which is cool.
And the New Game Plus itself doesn't really change up anything. It's pretty much the exact same game, just like way harder. But one thing that actually does do though, is that when you get one of the endings of the games, it actually does unlock a new starting class to which you can like play through with that, which I guess only really affects the early game because some of the stuff that you actually get isn't really that far into the game anyway. So I guess the only purpose to replay Lords of the Fallen is to probably try out some of the other new builds that you haven't tried out before, which can be good because you can make really fun builds with every single type. But like if you already played the game with like a Radiance and Inferno based build, then you pretty much did everything. So you're basically playing the game to get the Umbral ending, because if you didn't get the Umbral ending, then every other ending...
That was... It's such a... Look at this shit, man. I actually did this ending, by the way, my last playthrough.
His final boss is just absolutely terrible. He actually does get an extended part. It gets a phase 6 in New Game Plus and a phase 7 in New Game...
Lords of the Fallen version of Rally and Deflect is genius. Too bad the combat is janky. Yeah, the system was actually really good. Like being able to kick to stagger enemies was really nice. The parrying felt pretty cool. You can power stance. I don't know. I think the whole combat system as a whole was good, but yeah. The enemies and like the mechanics was... I mean, the mechanics are fine, but like the clunk and the enemies kind of shit. I mean, actually, it wasn't that bad. One thing I didn't mention as well when it came to like the combat is that Lies of P combat, like your weapons don't lunge in very far. Well, depending on your weapon it is. But like for most weapons, they don't lunge very far. And your weapons are always deflecting off fucking walls. Whereas Lords of the Fallen, I don't think your weapons deflected off walls. And they like overswing and lunge in really far. It's kind of like the opposite. So sometimes Lords of the Fallen was pretty cool. But how are you going to enjoy when you always fight the same enemies? Yeah. That's what it is. Like the enemies is like the biggest part. Bosses and enemies the biggest part of the combat. So yeah, like Lies of P combat is obviously better because its enemies are better. Simple as that.
Game Plus 2, which is actually really cool.
What is min-max? Huh? Min-maxing? Min-maxing. It's when you min-max your build. So you maximize the amounts of stuff that you can get. But maximize your stats or the actual like performance of the build itself.
Because like some of the best perks are actually tied behind those, and these actually really enhance the combat and make the New Game Plus and Plus 2 experience at least somewhat bearable because they can be really hard.
Ultim with the Prime sub. Thank you, man. That was your Ultim with the Prime subscription.
So for me, I'm just going to go based on what I actually enjoyed to replay the most. And for me, it was Lies of P. I liked the New Game Plus better. It was purely because like...
Wait, New Game Plus Lies of P was bullshit. The status effect build-up was insane.
At least I had bonfires, and I had something to look forward to and new upgrades. Whereas in Lords of the Fallen, it was just like testing out new builds. But
yeah, I bet one big thing about replaying a game is obviously how good the bosses can be. I think it's how good your bosses can be and how good your build creation is. Because like when you're typically replaying a game, you're probably just like, you're not really doing much exploring because you already did the exploring. You just like run from area to area, maybe make your build, and you just probably end up running to boss to boss. And if like a big part of your second playthrough is going to be your bosses, the one with the better bosses is probably going to be the cooler game to replay. New Game Plus is easy with the right setup. Yeah, it can be super fucking obnoxious. It's out of all like the Souls games that I played. I think that one and Demon Souls are the two games where like it takes like a massive jump in difficulty. And the fact that they have status effect build up just be like so much faster in New Game Plus as well was like, what the fuck?
I did replay both games at level 1, and both were actually really enjoyable playthroughs. And ironically, my favorite playthrough of Lords of the Fallen was actually my level 1 run, because the game can be so stingy with like the vigor, which is basically like your souls or runes. And you always have to like spend them on like leveling up, but you also have to buy a whole bunch of materials, buying some mana stones and things like that. But when I had my level 1 run, I didn't have to worry about leveling up at all. I just spent all the stuff that
That was true, yeah. The pacing of the game can be pretty kind of shit sometimes. I didn't actually talk about pacing at all. I'm pretty sure I talked about pacing.
wanted to buy. All the materials, all the ammunition pouches, it was really fun. And min-maxing a level 1 run is really cool as well. So I felt that
Lords of the Fallen, that was actually, I mean, as I said, it was my favorite playthrough in that game. Just doing a level 1 run in Lords of the Fallen. Actually really cool. If I actually didn't do that Lords of the Fallen run, I probably would have given build creation maybe to Liza P. Probably not still. But I did like 3 playthroughs of Lords of the Fallen, and every single one was like, mid. But that level 1 run that I did was actually really enjoyable. Some bosses were still dog shit, but... I watched your videos before I even started any Souls games. You watched my videos before you started the Souls games? All the guides and stuff? Nice.
Lords of the Fallen has more play in terms of challenge runs out there, but Liza P has more incentive and replayability, so I don't know. I'd probably just give this one to Liza P.
I think now it might be a bit different because Lords of the Fallen does have a randomizer mode, and I think there's some other game mode that they added as well. There was something else there.
Now getting into quality of life, this one is just not even close. It's probably just as much of a discrepancy as the performance-based one, because Liza P just clears.
Liza P has like the best quality of life than any fucking any Souls game ever. Lords of the Fallen has a lot more mods, does it? It also does have online as well, so I probably would have given it to Lords of the Fallen.
Flexed biceps.
McPablo with the $5. Appreciate it, my dude. Thank you, man. W's for McPablo with the $5 donation. Play Lords of the Fallen. I did play it like a couple months ago. We're not gonna play it again. Yeah, the quality of life is like insane. I talked about the quality of life for that long. Jeez. I probably shit on Lords of the Fallen quality of life being like kind of mid. I think I talked about the whole like getting souls and stuff, or getting your vigor, and that game was super annoying. A couple of things I could have talked about. I could have talked about more so of the pacing. I just kind of fucked up the build creation aspect there. I could have separated some of these things. Like I separated them unnecessarily, kinda. And like graphics and art was all preference anyway. World design, yeah. Liza P wins that one every day of the week. So yeah. Like the thing is this score is not really like indicative of how I feel about the games. Because I like Liza P a lot more. And somehow I'd still end up winning by only 2 points. So it's pretty funny. Because, like, the thing is, I gave, like, every single one, like, 1 point when some things should be worth more. Like, bosses and enemies should be, like, worth more points than, like, fucking... I don't know what else. Something else. What the fuck did Lords of Fallen even win? I actually gave it a point to both world design, didn't I? Yeah. Liza P should have won the world design. I don't know. I think because, like, Lords of the Fallen did actually have some branching paths and some areas that you could go to. Has Iron Man, random enemies, loot, enemy density, and other shit? Yeah, there's, like, more stuff now. So, honestly, if I did this video now, it'd probably honestly be... it'd probably be 5 to 5. Because replayability would have gone to Lords of the Fallen. But I wouldn't have given a point to world design in Lords of the Fallen, though. And, I don't know, I probably would have changed up the scoring system. I don't know. Giving combat to Lords of the Fallen is crazy. I literally described why. He contradicted himself so hard that in the segment seemed like he flipped the coin at the end to see what would he get. I didn't. I literally said why combat won. It's like people didn't even fucking see. I said that combat... I didn't contradict myself. I separate. Oh my god, people are so stupid. That's why I didn't want to read the comments. Because I literally said that combat, the bosses and enemies are the most important thing. But we're going to separate that and talk specifically about the combat system. Ah! I'm not reading the comments. I'm mad. Oh, God. Anyway. Who cares? Anyway, we're done. I have company over, so I couldn't be a long stream today, so we're just gonna do some other stuff. We're just gonna do this reaction stuff. I was actually gonna start a marathon today, but we'll do a marathon tomorrow. We're gonna play some Demon Souls. Yeah, we'll do that. Did you hire a hooker? Yes. Anyway, we are done for today. What's the marathon theme? I don't know. It's either going to be ultra great swords or straight swords. The thing is, ultra great swords is kind of weird when it comes to what's called very large swords, aren't they, in Demon Souls? Very large swords. When it comes to Demon Souls, the ultra great swords, there's only 2, and you get them like way later into the game. Like you get one in area 1-3, and you get the other one in area 2-3. So it's like you have to beat like at least 30% of the game, roughly, probably a bit less than 30%, just to be able to get one of them. And like they both get the exact same moveset. One's just like lighter but less damage, and one's heavier but more damage, which, you know, the Dragon Bone Smasher is probably just a better option. Have you played OG Demon Souls? Yeah, I played it, yeah. Let's play League. No, we're not going to be doing that. So I know, sure, I don't know. We might do it. We might do an Ultra Great Sword Marathon. Could do Straight Swords too. We were like one of those ones, and we could probably go like rank those later. I know my next video that I'm going to drop is going to be the level design video. That one's already finished. I'm probably just going to upload that one maybe today or tomorrow. And then I'm going to go probably make a video ranking the Night Rain classes. The 4 that I played with. Might as well talk about them, because why not? I didn't really talk about them much. So yeah, we'll do that. Anyway, thank you guys for stopping by. I will catch you all around later. Bye. See yous.